Hey everybody, in this video we'll be learning about the cues questions and advanced organizer strategy, and we'll be taking a look at three free apps, Science 360, iCell, and Simple Mind Plus, which is a mind mapping app. So this strategy falls within our second category of developing understanding, and the main focus here is um, that these are strategies or sort of sub-strategies that help students to organize and work with what they already know. So this is all about activating prior knowledge, all about tapping into student interests, helping them um, to recall and to make use of what they already know. So let's take a look at the strategy in more detail. So the research tells us that activating students' prior knowledge is very powerful. And so the idea here with these sub-strategies is to give an idea, give students kind of a telegraph about what it is that's coming up, what's important, what are you going to be learning. So we're not being coy here, we're just putting it right out there. This is what's coming up, and these are the important points that you'll be learning in more detail. And this is where students can then start to think about how they can hang what's coming up on what they already know. We can subdivide the strategies into two subcategories, cues and questions together and advanced organizers as its own separate thing. And the idea with cues and questions is really, it's about cues. We're giving students a heads up about what's coming. We might do that um, um, by trying to hook their attention. Um, we might do that by posing a question, an essential question that's going to hook their interest. So all these are different ways that you can kind of tap into their curiosity. With advanced organizers, kind of the same idea, and this is different from how we think about some other graphic organizer type strategies in that this is about laying out for them ahead of time what structure or organizational scheme that they might have success with as they think about the content. So timing and intent are key here. It's giving it to them ahead of time rather than hoping that they find their own understanding of it later. And it's also key that the hook or the advanced organizer really does connect with the high points of the lesson. That it's the important stuff that matters, not just sort of a peripheral point of interest. So key ideas around classroom practice. Again, focusing on what's important, asking those open-ended questions, being very explicit about the cues. And then in terms of advanced organizers, different formats that might be helpful. For expository text, a format that's going to make sense for that. For narrative text, and so on. So let's take a look at some apps. And I mentioned we would look at three. And each of these sort of does a similar or a related function, but really getting at hooking students' interest and then giving them something to connect their knowledge with. So let's look first at Science 360. So Science 360 is a free app that's put out through the National Science Foundation, and it's a collection of videos organized in this great 360 layout, so you can kind of float around in this center, this virtual center, and see what these different videos are. So for our demonstration purpose here, our lesson, we're going to be working on a lesson that's related to cell structure and function. And so we're going to take a look at this video that talks about mitochondria and their role. So we're loading the video here.
Mitochondria are the power plants of almost all living things with complex cell structures, including animals, plants, and human beings. They provide energy for a cell to move, divide, and do all the things.
So we're not going to watch the whole video, but you get the idea. This would be a short way to start a discussion, kind of preload your work with kids. So next we might um, in our hypothetical lesson about cell structure take a look at an interactive. And so this is an app called iCell, and it very simple. It just gives you three different sort of mock-ups of three different types of cells. So let's take a look at a plant cell. It gives us a, there you go. So we can work with this, sort of move this cell around in virtual space. We can zoom in on it. We can choose a structure. Let's take a look at a chloroplast, and it's going to give us a zoom and a little bit of an explanation about it. We can choose the level of sort of the reading level of the text, or the complexity of the concept. So let's look at the intermediate. So that gives us a little bit more complex information. The advanced version is probably college level. So this would be something that you could use as an engaging way for you to introduce some of these concepts as a sort of a class tour to a large group, or you could let students explore this on their own. As a final advanced organizer, we might use Mind Map, and I'm going to take a look right now at Simple Mind Plus, and have started creating just a simple mind map based on the parts of a cell. And so right now I have everything minimized for simplicity. But if we start to expand it a little bit, um, I've got the three different sort of levels or areas of a cell: the nucleus, the surface, and the cytoplasm. And so this is the organizational scheme I want my students to be thinking about. And now I can expand each of those. So in cytoplasm, we've listed some additional structures that are found in the cytoplasm, surface structures, and the nucleus. So now we might continue to expand this if we want to we want to move beyond structures and we want to get into functions. We might look at um, starting to work with this more interactively. And so for mitochondria, I'm going to start to list the function, and I'm going to say this is the power plant of the cell. And it might be something then that you begin to work through each of these different structures and articulate what the function is. So this could be a place that you return to for additional note taking and additional advanced organizing. So those are the three, and that is in a nutshell the strategy for cues, questions, and advanced organizers. So thanks, and we'll look forward to seeing what you have to share in the discussion board.